Shalala's campaign office in Coral Gables during a protest organized by the county's Republican Party. In that video, you see the chair of the county Republican Party pounding on a door as people around him scream at those inside the event are communists and witches. Among those inside, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who was in town to support Shalala, who is running against Maria Elvira Salazar, and Debbie Mercaso-Powell, who is running against Carlos Curbelo. And joining me now is Donna Shalala, and I want to start with that protest. Give me your impressions. You were obviously inside. Nancy Pelosi's there. Capitol Police are there to protect her. But you have these people, these knuckleheads, pounding on the door, screaming all sorts of things.
Well, they're more than knuckleheads. Led by the Republican Party's head, Nelson Diaz, standing shoulder to shoulder with the Proud Boys, an alt-right group. What does that mean? They're anti-immigrant, they're homophobic, they're racist, they're sexist, and more than that, they're dangerous. They're a terrorist group. And he's standing next to them. And he doesn't have the good sense to tell everybody to walk away, not to be associated with them. Look, Trump has infected the Republican Party. One of the saddest things in American politics is to infect the Republican Party with these alt-right groups who are homophobic, sexist, racist, anti-Semitic. One of my staff people was walking in. He happens to be Jewish. The woman asked him whether he was a Christian. He said no, he was Jewish, and she hurled an epithet at him. That's outrageous. And Nelson Diaz is personally responsible. But more importantly, my opponent did not denounce. She made a little statement about free speech. She did not denounce the terrible views of that alt-right group. Nelson Diaz has issued an apology saying that he was caught up in the emotion of the event, given the fact that the event was also supposed to have Barbara Lee, a congresswoman from California, who has given some praise to Fidel Castro when he died, visited with Fidel Castro in the past. Do you put into context at all that maybe the emotion of the event got the better of some of those protesters? I do not, because he's an adult, and he's the head of the Republican Party, and he has a responsibility to act like an adult. If Jeb Bush had walked by that group and seen Nelson Diaz demonstrating like that, he would have taken him by the collar and told him to go home.
The issue that I think some were trying to make of the entire event, the Nancy Pelosi event, Barbara Lee being on the invitation, was that you are somehow out of touch with the community you want to represent. Maria Elvira Salazar has talked about the idea that you're not from here. Talk to me about that. How do you address that issue?
First of all, my family was here long before her family was here. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins have lived in South Florida in this district since the 1950s. Second, I've been part of this community. I haven't spent my time, with all due respect, on television. I spent my time working in the community, educating students, creating 5,000 jobs, working with community organizations. I am deep into this community. But I'll tell you one thing about the community. This community does not believe in these alt-right groups. It does not believe that any party should be supporting groups that are racist and sexist and homophobic and anti-Semitic. And anyone that doesn't denounce these groups, like my opponent, is totally out of touch with the community.
I want to get to healthcare in a second, but speaking of your opponent, we have repeatedly tried to get her to come on this show. She said she would and then has never come on. We proposed a debate. She's apparently refusing to debate in English. You did 2 debates in Spanish. What do you think that says about her?
Well, it says a lot about me, first, that I'm respectful about the community. That's why I did 2 debates in Spanish. But I also expected her to do debates in English. She actually announced that she would do it on the 28th of October. Half the voters will have voted by then. And my position is you've got to do it before people start voting. And she's had numerous invitations.
Well, we first invited her to a formal debate on September 6th or 7th, it was, all the way back then.
And I said yes.
Yeah, you said yes. All right, so let's talk about health care. I know that's a prominent issue for you. She did appear on this show back in September, not on this show, but rather with our 7 o'clock show on September 5th, and she talked about Obamacare, and she said it wasn't working. She said we should allow the forces of capitalism to go into the health care industry, and then she added this.
So why don't we allow for health care to be sold across state lines? Why don't we allow for Publix, for instance, to be able to buy one insurance plan for all its employees in Alabama, Oklahoma, or Oregon? I'm just giving an example, but, you know, across state lines. I think capitalism doesn't solve everything, Elliot, but it's a lot better than socialism. Okay.
So does capitalism the cure for health care?
Look, I'm a capitalist, but I know in the case of health care, capitalism does not work. If you're old, if you're poor, if you're working, you're a working stiff that has to work 1 or 2 jobs, capitalism, free markets don't work for you. You need subsidies, and you need the government to regulate the health care system. That's why 100,000 people in this district are registered for the Affordable Care Act. They think it works for them. They'd like the prices to be lower, and I agree with that, but they believe it works for them. And let me tell you about the idea of going across a state line. So go across to Alabama, buy a health insurance plan, a cheap one, come back to Florida, and you won't find a doctor that will take it. You want to complain? You can't complain to the insurance commissioner of Florida. You have to complain to the insurance commissioner of Alabama. Do you think that person is going to enforce an insurance policy in Miami? It's the silliest idea ever introduced in healthcare.
Well, the other idea, too, this notion of socialism. I guess under that definition, Medicare is socialism, Social Security is socialism.
VA.
The VA is socialism?
It's not. It's the government response. I believe the government ought to intervene when the private sector can't. The private sector does not want to insure you if you're poor, if you're old, if you're disabled, if you're a veteran that has some issues that need to be dealt with by the VA. And so government intervenes selectively where the private sector cannot. That's my position.
Another issue in this race is the issue of guns. Obviously, we're seeing the post-Parkland era. I think is changing some of the dynamics. What are you hearing as you go around, and what specifically do you want to see change in Congress if you're elected when it comes to the issue of guns?
I believe in sensible gun control, but that includes a ban on assault weapons, which is very important. I was part of the team that negotiated that ban in 1970. In 1994, we negotiated it for 10 years, and then the Republicans let it lapse. It made a difference. We can do that again. I believe that assault weapons ban, sensible gun control can be done on a bipartisan basis. But we've got to have Democrats in charge to be able to do that, because the Republican Party will not allow a vote on assault weapons ban.
Do we know enough about Maria Elvira Salazar, in your opinion? Because I'm still trying to figure out things about her background and what exactly her positions are on issues.
Well, in terms of her background, we know she's been on television, and but in terms of her positions on issues, I've had trouble understanding them. When she has come out with positions, it's been confusing. On the one hand, she says she'll take money from the NRA. On the other hand, she says she absolutely will not take money from the NRA. Her positions on health care are just screwy.
All right, we gotta go. Look, I will continue to say, if Maria Elvira Salazar wants to come in and sit down here, I'd love to hear from her. We'll be right back after the break.